I shall now turn to the actual text of the ROSH. Unfortunately, the format leaves something to be desired. I guess the assumption is that those studying the commentary of the ROSH would be thoroughly familiar with the Gemara text that the ROSH is commenting on, and hence there would be no need to highlight the heading to his commentary, leaving it to the reader to identify the end of the previous Pirush and the beginning of the next. Be it that it may, the heading is V'chi shama kol tarnagola, that when one hears the crow of the rooster, lema, he should then say or recite the bracha baruch shenatan lesechvi bina lahavchin ben yom uvein laila, and immediately comments that the word sechvi in this bracha refers to the heart. The ROSH then proceeds to quote a pasuk in support of his thesis. That source is from Sefer Iyov, Perek 38. Most people don't get to study Iyov, including myself, and therefore in the next panel we shall take a closer look at the events recorded in this Perek. In this Perek we have a series of challenges that HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes to Iyov, another in a series of rhetorical questions. Mi shat batuchot chachma, who has placed chachma, wisdom, into the inner parts, possibly referring to the brain of man, or mi natan la sechvi bina. And while Rashi defines the sechvi as a rooster, the Rabbeinu Asher seems to suggest that the sechvi in Sefer Iyov refers to the heart, the emotions, v'halev, and it is the heart is able to understand, is able to discriminate. V'al yedei habina, it is through the faculty of bina that man can distinguish between day and night, however one is to understand the terms yom and laila. And then the ROSH provides a justification for the word sechvi, which has the default translation of a rooster, a bird that is synonymous with daybreak. It is able to instinctively identify the new day. This bracha, regarding the ability to distinguish between day and night, was linked to the crow of the rooster. Furthermore, there is also a textual source linking the sechvi to a rooster, and that is to be found in Masechet Sachin. It states in the language of the Arabi, presumably the language spoken by the Arabs, Korin the Tarnagol sechvi. In Hebrew it's called a Tarnagol, the Arabs call it a sechvi. As is the custom of the ROSH, he distills practical halacha from the Gemara. Halacha number 1 is that even if one did not actually hear the crow of the rooster, Yachal levarech beracha zu, one can nevertheless make this bracha a statement of praise, one of many, not that God has given us the ability to think. And this, amongst many of the following brachot, are expressions of thanks for God providing mankind with our means for survival. A second halacha, if one happens to be sleeping in a room without light, for example in a closed basement, that person nevertheless, and in a world without iPhones, that individual would be able to ascertain the beginning of a new day through the crow of a rooster. So that in summary, the ROSH has linked the sechvi to the human being, and thereby smoothed out the difficulty of applying the term bina, knowledge, to a rooster, but by the same token has difficulty with the fact that the default translation for sechvi is a rooster, suggesting that the bracha may contain a dual meaning. There is a justification for the wording of the term sechvi as a rooster. He also provides a textual source. Textual in terms of a statement made in the Gemara Psachim regarding the sechvi, and 2 halachot, that one recites his bracha even though one has not actually heard the sound of a rooster, and halacha 2, if one sleeps in a room that is cut off from sunlight, he or she can still make the bracha of hanoten lesechvi bina, because in theory a rooster is the first of all animals to distinguish night from the new day. For this reason, the newer translations of the Siddur prefer not to get involved with the issues of a rooster, where the Koran Siddur translates the bracha as who gives the heart understanding. And in a footnote to the Asher Natan Lasechvi, Rabbi Sachs writes that this is the translation according to the Rabbeinu Asher the ROSH, as has been demonstrated in this panel.